Hey, Leo, Virgo Cuspers, what if the biggest thing blocking love isn't other people, but the way maybe you've learned to receive it? So today's Spirit is revealing how you can open up your heart to the love that you've been asking for. Welcome in, my beautiful Leo Virgo Cuspers. Today we're exploring a very powerful question. How can you improve the way you accept love? This reading isn't just about romantic love, right? It's just about the way you receive care, support, affection, kindness, abundance, and emotional connection from others. Sometimes we think we are open to love, but Spirit just reveals there's a bit of hidden walls around the heart that we built through past experiences, disappointments, betrayals, or simply years of having to be the strong one. So let's dive in. So your first card, how you currently accept love. Well, we do have the High Priestess. And right now I feel like you accept love very cautiously. The High Priestess is showing someone who feels deeply connected, who feels very deeply, but doesn't always reveal those feelings openly. You may be incredibly intuitive when it comes to other people's emotions, yet when it comes to your own heart, you tend to keep things hidden beneath the surface. You often tend to observe before you trust. You analyze before you surrender. You feel before you speak. And that's where wisdom is here, right? There's wisdom here because of that. But the Spirit's also showing me sometimes maybe you hold people at a distance without maybe realizing it. You may be waiting for proof, waiting for certainty, waiting for guarantees. And the challenge is that love really arrives with guarantees. The High Priestess can sometimes create the emotional mystery around you. Others may not always know how deeply you care because your feelings are protected behind some strong inner walls. And what Spirit is saying is open. It says your heart is open, but only after some sort of extensive testing. Like the question here becomes, are you protecting your heart or preventing yourself from fully experiencing love? Now, your second card here is, how can you improve the way you receive love? Now, we do have the Page of Wands, which is quite beautiful because, sorry, the Page of Wheels. And the Page of Wheels is actually beautiful energy. Always in these cards, I get, because I see the W and then I just assume it's ones. But this is Wheels, Page of Wheels. Spirit is saying your heart is being asked to become the student again, become curious again, become open again. The page doesn't always know everything, right? But the page is willing to learn. That some of you have become so focused on avoiding disappointment that maybe you've started avoiding the possibility. So this card says love doesn't need you to have all the answers, right? It doesn't need you to predict the ending. It simply asks you to stay in the present, allowing people to show you who they are, allow relationships to unfold naturally, allow yourself to be surprised. I feel like this is what's about to develop, like trusting step by step instead of demanding certainty before taking a single leap. All right. So now, interesting, the kind of love that you attract. Now we do have the Two of Swords here, and it's quite interesting because the reason I'm saying that is the kind of love you're attracting right now mirrors indecision. You may attract people who are uncertain, people who struggle to open up emotionally, people who don't fully know what they want, or situations where timing becomes complicated. But the Spirit's saying these relationships are often reflecting something back at you, right? Back to you. Where have you been sitting on the fence with your own heart? Where have you been protecting yourself by refusing to fully choose vulnerability? Two of Swords isn't always about making the wrong choice. It's about avoiding the choice altogether. So the universe may just be showing you relationships that reflect your own hesitation around receiving love completely. Well, here we have the Fool about how to change your vibration around love. And this is quite powerful. Because the Fool doesn't always have to be reckless, right? The Fool is courageous. So your next chapter, Spirit is saying, is love requires a little bit of a leap of faith. Not because there is guarantees. We don't always have guarantees, but because there aren't guarantees. The Fool trusts the journey. The Fool trusts themselves. The Fool understands that every relationship, every connection, every experience teaches something valuable. Some of you need to release the belief that every new person must prove they won't hurt you. Instead, trust that you are strong enough to handle whatever unfolds. That changes everything. Because suddenly you're no longer operating from a place of fear, you're operating from a place of confidence. And the Fool says that you don't know exactly where the road leads, but you're willing to walk it. And that energy is quite magnetic. The baggage you're carrying around, love, Ace of Swords, that many of you may be carrying memories connected to painful truths, conversations that just change everything, words that hurt, truths that shatter the illusions, situations you finally saw someone for who they truly were. Some of you, the baggage isn't about the relationship itself. It's the story maybe that you've created afterwards. The belief that love is difficult, the belief that people always leave, the belief that the vulnerability is dangerous, the belief that trusting someone means risking everything. And what Spirit is saying, the baggage lives in your mind more than in your heart. And because it lives in your mind, hey, it can be rewritten. So how can you release this baggage and move forward? Well, we do have the Empress, which is a beautiful healing card. Whether you're male or female, it's a reminder that healing doesn't happen through the force. It happens through nurturing, through compassion, through self-love, through recognizing your worth. The Empress doesn't chase love. She becomes love. She radiates love. Spirit says the more that you nurture yourself, the less you seek validation from others. The more you value yourself, the less you tolerate relationships that don't honor your heart. The more you connected, you become your own abundance. The easier it becomes to receive the healthy love when it arrives. And the answer isn't finding someone to heal the wounds, right? The answer is becoming deeply rooted in your own worth, that those wounds no longer define your future. Well, here is the Four of Wheels at the bottom of the deck, and that is the hidden energy here. That Spirit is saying that many of you are still holding on to old disappointments, old experiences, old fears, holding on to control. So this is just a reminder here that what we grip tightly to, right, it cannot grow. Love needs room to breathe. Love needs space to flow. And sometimes receiving love without losing our grip on what actually happened yesterday. Leo Virgo Cuspers, I feel like your message today is saying that love is not asking you to become less wise. Love is just asking you to become less afraid. You've learned the vulnerable lessons or the valuable lessons. You have grown, you've healed, and you have survived things that just once felt impossible, right? So now Spirit's just asking you to stop viewing your past as proof that love is dangerous and start viewing it as proof that you are actually stronger than you realize. Your heart is not being prepared for loss. Your heart is being prepared for the expansion. But the question is whether love is coming. Yeah, the question is not whether love is coming. The question is whether you're willing to receive it when it comes. So perhaps you can affirm below, I am open to receiving love. And beautiful souls, thank you for liking the video, being subscribers, leaving comments. And until next time, beautiful soul, trust your path, trust your heart, and trust the journey. Love and light.